John, we got a lot to talk about. Let's start about your team.
Yeah, my team is killing me right now, Lee. I mean, they just lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubbies. I guess they're playing tonight for the 4th game.
So the Padres are just staggering. I don't know when they're going to hit. I don't know why they don't hit. When you've got as much proven talent in the everyday lineup and why they continue to stagger and slump, it's absolutely ridiculous. They're 27-32. Every time they win a game by big numbers, you think they're turning the corner, and then they come back with clinkers. They have lost 14 games this season, John, to substandard teams. I'm talking about last place teams. I'm teams that have been perennial losers. I'm talking about teams that are even struggling to get to the 500 mark. Their record is 11-14 against 500 or less ball clubs this season, with a $253 million payroll. The Padres are 10-17 at Petco. They are 28th, third worst in all of baseball home field record.
Oh, geez.
Please explain that to me with a $253 million payroll, the Fab Four, and some pretty good frontline pitching. On top of that, they have lost 18 of their last 25 games after what we thought was going to be a pennant contending team. I just don't think they have physically and emotionally recovered after they got their brains beat out in that 1 week span by the Dodgers. It just has not been the same baseball team. And if you look at the batting average, holy cow, it's like red flags everywhere. They're like in neon lights, like caution. Can you believe this is happening? Trent Grisham is hitting 133 in his last 21 games. 133. Gold glove, tarnished bat. Hard to believe. Manny Machado's batting average down in the 220s now. Obviously, Bogaerts has got a wrist that has flared. They can't give him cortisone injections anymore. He's hit the max limit. I would assume maybe the next thing is acupuncture, but he's hitting a $198 in the last month. And then, Tatis is hitting some. Soto's hitting a little bit more. Your combined catchers are batting a $138. This is hard to believe because these guys are all proven products, proven commodities, and they're really underachieving right now. Those are the numbers. They're right there in front of you. My favorite phrase is the scoreboard does not lie. You are what your record says you are. And right now it's just a team that is underachieving, team in trouble. Lots of baseball still to come, but please project out to me. What makes you think the next month will be better than the last couple of months?
Yeah, it's killing me. I mean, as a fan, is that a Bill Parcells line? You are what your record says you are. I've been seeing some, tweets in Padre Twitter world talking about rumors that there's division in the clubhouse, that Manny and Fernando aren't getting along, and there's friction and a lot of bad chemistry. Are you hearing anything about that?
Well, it's been written a little bit. Nobody's made any specifics that there are issues, and I don't think players are going to talk about the internals behind clubhouse doors to the media, because if that gets out, it inflames it and it makes it a lot worse. I've seen clubhouses that have been fractured. I've been in clubhouses that have been fractured, and it's not a good scene. It's too early for that to happen, but if this turns out to be a piece of crap season, the story will probably surface. If it's happening, then the people within that clubhouse need to take control. Now, I'm not sure where the leadership is coming from right now. There is no Craig Stammen there because his career is likely over. Nelson Cruz has not been productive. You would have thought at age 40, maybe he would have some influence. Does not seem to have happened right now. I just don't think outside of Joe Musgrove, the persona of any pitchers is real strong. Somebody needs to take control if that is a problem. And it's got to come to a degree from Bob Melvin. And he's been in enough clubhouses where things have been good and things have been bad. Like I said, when he got hired, I thought they hit a home run because they got a guy who's experienced everything there is to experience. And he's experiencing something really bad right now in the Padres dugout, on the field, and I hope not in the clubhouse.
It's got to be something, though, right? I mean, granted, Xander's got a hurt wrist, and you talk about Machado was out for a while with a broken hand, but it's more than that. It's like an intangible, because all these guys are generally proven commodities, and they just stink when they play here. And Grisham, by the way, he hasn't hit in 2 years. I mean, with the exception of the postseason last year. So, there's also talk about maybe, Bryce Miller, the reporter for the UT, put out a column saying maybe it's time to move Tatis to center field.
Possibly, but how are you going to replace anybody? I mean, I would think they need infusion and chemistry from the outside, but how are you going to do that? Nobody wants those big money contracts. How are you going to do that? Trade more from the farm system, which is rather threadbare up top? And how are you going to do that? Take on more payroll when you're already at the threshold right now and you don't want to go over because the damage you do by being a third-time violator of the luxury tax is pretty significant. I think the solution has to come from within. I kept thinking, we saw last year during the pennant race how electric Petco Park became, how exciting the dugout was, the celebrations and all that. We saw that team come together. And outside of the weekend they wore the sombreros in Mexico City, doesn't look like the same franchise to me.
No. I mean, it's unbelievable how difficult this is. But when you've got Grisham hitting, what is he hitting, like $180 or something? I mean, it's almost better to put Tatis in center, and you could put anybody else in right. I mean, it could be Brandon Dixon, it could be Odor when he gets back to, with that pulled hammy. I mean, anybody can hit better than Grisham at this point. And yeah, you give up some of the D, but Tatis is pretty darn close to Grisham defensively.
We'll see where it goes. They better solve something, because once they're done with this guy and then Seattle, then they go back on the road and they got to go to Coors Field up in Colorado. Now, that's the story